Rodriguez, officially sworn in now as Venezuela's interim president, facing a big test from the United States on whether she'll be cooperative under this new regime, certainly sounding more and more as if she will the last 24 hours or so. Questions now swirling on what happens if she's not, including the idea of having U.S. boots on the ground. Retired Air Force Brigadier General John Teichert joins us right now. Good to see you again, General Teichert. I want to play one more clip from the president on the plane talking about the possibility of a second strike before we begin our conversation. Here's President Trump.
So Venezuela thus far has been very nice, but it helps have a force like we have. You know, we were ready for a second wave. We were all set to go, but we don't think we're going to need it.
We don't think we're going to need it, but say he did decide that he needed it. What would the rationale for that be? I know there have been questions about the rationale for the first operation, but I certainly understand it and you know what the president and his team were trying to do. But what would be the rationale they would be able to use for a second strike?
Connell, very clearly in the press conference on Saturday, the president mentioned that same second strike that was still on the shelf. And the first strike was completely focused on the nabbing of and exfil of Maduro. And the second phase likely was being prepared in case there was severe resistance by internal security or the defense apparatus in Venezuela. That never came, and so it wasn't needed. But likely the rationale going forward would be if you saw large-scale moves by defense establishment elements within Venezuela to maybe disrupt the Rodriguez government, and then that plan would be taken off the shelf and you'd see that second phase.
But wouldn't we have to, I guess I'm getting at, use some sort of a self-defense rationalization or something like that if we were going to, and if so, what would that be? Or would it just be, hey, we're going in no matter what?
Connell, I think the legal rationale for what we did on Friday night was a lot more sound than what we would need to do if there was some sort of larger scale phase 2 operation in Venezuela. But I do think that because of the newfound compliance of Rodriguez and no strong moves by defense or internal security apparatus within Venezuela, that likely we won't need that second phase.
I was searching for the right words. You found them. The newfound compliance, right? So talk more about what we've seen from Ms. Rodriguez here over the last 24 hours.
Connell, I think she realizes it is in her best interest and likely Venezuela's best interest to not resist the U.S. desires in Venezuela. But I think what the president has been missing thus far is making sure that Rodriguez is a short-term transitional figure. Because Venezuela had elections in 2024, and Gonzalez, who's in exile in Spain, and Machado, who is very popular and still in Venezuela, the faster you can install them as the rightful duly elected government in Venezuela, then you add legitimacy to what we did on Friday night. You likely would meet U.S. interests, and you would meet the interests of the Venezuelan people as well. And I wish we were talking more about Rodriguez as a short-term figure and Gonzalez and Machado as the longer-term solution for governance in Venezuela.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.